Hey Gemini, welcome to Mirasol Tarot, and thank you so much for being here. This is your love reading for anyone with Sun, Moon, or Rising in Gemini. It's a general reading, so take what resonates and leave what doesn't. If it doesn't, please check your other placements. All right, let's get started.
All right, Gemini, we have the Knight of Swords, we have the Eight of Swords, and then we also have the Seven of Swords out here. Okay, there's an overall energy of you currently connecting with someone that you don't necessarily trust entirely, okay? Now, this person that you currently find yourself connecting with that you don't necessarily trust entirely, it could be, that this person has given you reasons to not trust them in the past. That's definitely a possibility. And if that is the case where this person has given you reasons to not necessarily trust them, in the past, Gemini, for a lot of you, you could find yourself, accusing this person of doing things behind your back, even if they are or not doing anything behind your back. You might find yourself accusing them of doing things behind your back, either which way, due to stuff that they have essentially put you through in the past, causing you to feel like they might be doing it again, or they're about to do it again, is kind of what I'm getting. But with the Knight of Swords to the Eight of Swords to the Seven of Swords coming out here, that's kind of telling me that there's an overall energy of you essentially feeling, right? Well, not necessarily feeling, but thinking, right? That this person is basically up to no good. And because you think that this person's up to no good, you could go as far as to, like I said, accuse them of doing something behind your back. You might even confront them and ask this person, is there something you need to tell me? Are you doing something behind my back? Things of that nature. With the Eight of Swords to the Seven of Swords coming out here, that creates an Ace of Swords at play, which basically represents the sword of truth. It also represents clarity. That's kind of telling me that whatever it is that you think this person could very well be doing, you don't necessarily have any sort of concrete evidence to back up what you think could very well be going on or what you think this person's up to. This is you just randomly thinking that this person's up to no good for whatever reason, and you're running off of the simple fact that, yep, they're up to no good because I think that they're up to no good. It's kind of mainly coming from that place. It's not coming from a place of you saw something and now you think, you know what I mean, that this person's up to no good because you saw something that led you to believe that. I'm not getting that from you. I'm kind of getting primarily like an overall energy of you thinking that they could very well be up to no good and choosing to believe that more than likely they are up to no good, and you're choosing to run with that without any sort of concrete evidence, without any facts or anything like that. It's kind of what I'm getting primarily off of your overall energy. How does this person currently view this relationship with Gemini? Okay. Well, I mean, your person doesn't look like they're up to no good. Yeah, they don't look like they're up to no good. Yeah, they definitely don't look like they're up to no good, but we're going to still look a little bit more into them. Anyways, we have the Knight of Swords, we got the Star, and then we also have the Seven of Pentacles. I feel like throughout the course of their relationship with you, Gemini, they've constantly found themselves, feeling the need that they have to basically reassure you that you are what they want. With the Seven of Pentacles coming out here, that's kind of telling me that all of this person's eggs are basically in your basket. They're very crystal clear on you and what they basically want with you is primarily what I'm getting here off of this person's overall energy, Gemini. Like I said, we're still going to look into this person a little bit more just to see, right, if what you're thinking is essentially true, that they are, up to no good. But let's look at the Star. Tell me more about the Star. Yeah, they come off to me as somebody who's very dead set on you. Tell me more about the Star. All right, so we have the Knight of Cups that came out, and then we also have the Ten of Pentacles, and then we also have the Sun out here. So Gemini, in regards to how they're currently viewing you and this relationship that they share with you, for one, you are somebody who makes this person very, very happy. You are somebody that they see a lot of potential with. You are also somebody who possesses a lot that they're looking for within a person. So with that being said, they do come off to me as somebody who's very happy and very content with you and what they currently have with you. In other words, they don't necessarily feel like they have to step outside of this marriage that they share with you or this relationship that they share with you for absolutely anything, because they feel like they already have everything that they truly want and desire already, aka you. Now, with all of that being said, I do want to jump back over to you. How does Gemini currently feel? Okay, so we have the Page of Pentacles, we got the Five of Swords, and then we also have the Nine of Pentacles. No surprise. We have the Devil out here with the Judgment card, and then we also have the Five of Cups. I just said this in somebody's reading recently, but for the life of me, I forgot who it was. Gemini, let me break down how you feel really quickly here. So in regards to how you're currently feeling, there's an overall energy of you struggling to trust this person. There is an overall energy of you finding it remotely impossible to do so, is basically what I'm getting as far as trusting this person, is concerned. With the Five of Swords to the Eight of Swords to the Seven of Swords to the Knight of Swords coming out here, that's kind of telling me that because you don't necessarily trust this person entirely, you find yourself overthinking things quite a bit. Within this dynamic that you share with this person, you find yourself really questioning, them and their intentions towards you and why they're really here and what they really want with you, things of that nature. I just kind of feel like you find it very hard to believe that this person is dead set on you. I just feel like you find it very hard to believe that this person's eggs are all up in your basket and nobody else's basket. I feel like you find it hard to believe that you are the only one that they basically want. And because you find that very, very hard to believe, you tend to, overthink things quite a bit. You also tend to think the worst, unfortunately, when it comes down to this person that you currently find yourself connecting with. Due to you overthinking things and constantly find yourself questioning absolutely everything under the sun, I do feel like this, connection does take a massive toll. Well, let me not word it that way because I don't feel like that's fair for me to even say it in that way. I do feel like due to the fact that you refuse to trust this person, I do feel like it is taking a massive toll on your mental health. Because originally what I was going to say is that this relationship that you share with this person, it's taking a massive toll on your mental health, but it doesn't feel right to say that it's this relationship that's taking a massive toll on your mental health, to be completely honest, because I'm not getting, I'm not getting like an overall energy of you, connecting with the bad guy here. I'm just simply not getting that off of this person. So I don't want to say that, all of this is this person's fault. And, they're the reasons why, your mental health is kind of struggling right now because of them and, everything that they're doing on their end. I just can't say that, to be completely honest, about this person, especially because of how they're showing up in this reading. I don't feel like I'm looking at somebody who's out to get you. I don't feel like I'm looking at somebody who doesn't want to be with you. I don't feel like I'm looking at somebody who, isn't happy with you. I don't feel like I'm looking at someone like that. I feel like I'm looking at somebody who's very happy and content with you. I feel like I'm looking at somebody who looks at you as somebody who possesses everything that they truly want and desire within a person. Hence why they don't feel like they have to go outside of this relationship to get absolutely anything from absolutely anyone because they already got all of that, from you is basically what I'm getting. But back to, your energy. You just refuse to trust this person, Gemini, and that's kind of what it all boils down to, dude. You refuse to trust this person, and because you refuse to trust them, all of this is taking a massive toll on your mental health, And like I said, dude, with the Eight of Swords to the Seven of Swords, that creates an Ace of Swords at play, which we're not even getting out here, which is basically insinuating that you're creating these god-awful scenarios, right, in your mind as to what this person could very well be doing, right? And you're choosing to run with it without having any sort of concrete evidence to say, all right, see, look, they're doing this. No, like this is you just randomly coming up with things in your mind about what they could very well be doing. And you're choosing to believe those, those negative narratives that you're creating in your mind about this person. You're choosing to run with it as if it is true. It's like the best way that I can describe what it is that I'm seeing here. Okay. There's such a, how do I say this? There's such a lack of clarity on your behalf. It's not even funny. In other words, Gemini, you're not really seeing this person, clearly like you think you are. You're looking at this person like they're out to get you. You're looking at this person like they're here to betray you and deceive you and play all types of games with you. That's how you're looking at this person. And because we failed to get the Ace of Swords for you, that again, that's kind of telling me that you're not really seeing this person or your relationship with this person clearly. Due to how, and this is how you look at this entire situation, by the way, but due to how this connection, right, is affecting you, it's causing you to feel like you're better off just being single and alone than being with this person due to how this connection is affecting you. But this connection is not affecting you. You are affecting you by creating these negative narratives in your mind about this person that is not necessarily true, is basically what I'm getting, Gemini. And I'm just being honest with you. Now, with the devil coming out here, and like I said this in a reading recently, with the devil coming out here, you got to understand that, all of these negative thoughts that you're experiencing here on your end anyways, it's coming from this one over here, in other words, okay? He wants you to think the worst when it comes down to this person. He wants you to think that this person's out to get you. He wants you to think this person's going to betray you and deceive you one day. Why? Because it could definitely potentially influence you to self-sabotage this relationship and remove yourself entirely from this person and from this connection. And the only reason behind all of that is because the devil doesn't like to see unity between two people. He absolutely freaking hates it. So with that being said, if he could alter, your perception of this person, to get you to leave this person, that's exactly what he's going to do, because he doesn't like to see unity between two people. Okay. He wants you to go right back to being single and alone, which is no surprise why you're basically feeling now like, I think I'm just better off being single and alone. You know what I mean? It's no surprise why you find yourself feeling that way. That's exactly how this one over here wants you to feel. In other words, this one over here wants you to be single and alone and by yourself, because you're a much easier target when you're alone than you are when you're with someone, in other words. So with that being said, with that being said, you're just going to have to really use your discernment, Gemini, when it comes down to where these negative thoughts are actually coming from, because they're not coming from your intuition. That's one thing that I will say. It's definitely not coming from there. It's coming from here. Is basically what I'm trying to get you to see. Okay, let's look at this human. How does this person currently feel about this relationship? All right. So, we have the Seven of Swords, we have the Six of Swords, and then we also have the Empress. The bottom of the deck, we do have the Nine of Wands, we also have the Ten of Wands, and then we also have the Justice card to the Five of Wands, and then we also have the World out here. No surprise. This person's showing up. This person's showing up as a Nine of Wands. Okay, so that's kind of telling me that your person doesn't feel safe and secure within this relationship that they share with you. And I kind of feel like it has a lot to do with the fact that this person views you as somebody who's very, very unpredictable. Is like the best way that I can describe how this person's currently feeling about you and this relationship that they share with you, because they feel like you're very, very unpredictable. It causes them to not feel so safe and secure with you, because, on one hand, things could be unfolding really nicely here between the two of you. On the other hand, things could totally go left at any given moment. It's basically what I'm getting primarily off of this person's overall energy, which, like I said, just causes them to feel not so safe and secure with you. I also kind of feel like throughout the course of their relationship with you, not only has this person been reassuring you time and time again that you are what they want, it kind of looks like this person, has went as far as to try to prove that you are what they want. I'm also kind of getting that as well, through their actions and stuff like that. But it kind of looks like the stuff that they have done to essentially prove to you that they're serious about you, prove to you that they really do want you, prove to you that they really do want to spend the rest of their life with you, things of that nature. It hasn't necessarily been working out in their favor, because you're still showing up in this connection the way that you are choosing to continue to basically show up within this connection, is basically what I'm getting. So it causes this person to feel like everything that they have done to gain your trust doesn't work. Everything that they have done to reassure you that they really do love you and that they really do want to be with you, it just simply doesn't work. It's like they feel like they're caught up in a vicious cycle here with you that they don't know how to escape from, is like the best way that I can describe what it is that I'm seeing here on this person's behalf. What actions will Gemini take towards this person or moving forward? Okay. We have the Gemini. Okay. We have the Seven of Wands. We got the Nine of Swords. We also have the King of Wands. Okay. I feel like you're very fearful to let this person in. I feel like you're very fearful to even allow yourself to go there. And it's mainly stemming from a place of you not wanting to get hurt. It's mainly stemming from a place of you not wanting to get played. It's mainly stemming from a place of you just not wanting to get let down and or disappointed. Totally understandable. But I feel like this is like a constant battle that you've been facing within your relationship with this person, because there's times, which kind of makes sense as to why we kind of got that overall energy for this person now that I'm looking at these cards that came out here for you, because there's times where you feel like you can trust them. There's times where you feel like you can go there with them, but there's times where you feel like you just can't. It's like the best way that I can describe what I'm seeing here. Which to me kind of feels like, yeah, this is definitely a constant battle that you find yourself facing within your relationship here with this person. But we were already kind of getting that off of this person, because there's times where this person feels like things are unfolding nicely here between the two of you, and there's times where this person feels like things are just going outright left between you and them. But it's mainly because they view you as somebody who basically thinks like the worst of them at times, and that's why things oftentimes typically go left here between you and them. Tell me more about the Nine of Swords. Okay. All right, we finally got the Ace of Swords out here, which I do want to clarify that furthermore. But we have the Ten of Swords. We also have the World with the Nine of Cups to the Ace of Swords. You know, the quickest way to get yourself out of this vicious cycle that you find yourself in, Gemini, is to just accept your situation for what it truly is, not for what you think it is or what you think it might be one day. Like, no, like, accept your situation honestly for what it is and stop fighting it already. And stop overthinking it already and stop allowing fear to get the best of you. Tell you more about the Ace of Swords. All right. So, Gemini. We have the Page of Swords. We also have the Emperor, and then we also have the Nine of Wands. So I'm about to break all this down for you. So you're looking at this person, right? Like, they could potentially be a King of Wands like energy, like a Playboy Playgirl like energy, right? Well, here's the thing. A King of Wands is somebody who normally shies away from full-blown committed relationships, and it's mainly because they don't like full-blown committed relationships. They just don't. They want to be single and free and just, you know, be out here living their best life, not being tied down to absolutely anyone. So you don't have that problem with this person in particular. See, this person doesn't have a problem with being tied down to you. They don't have a problem with that whatsoever. In fact, that's what this person is striving for here, is to be tied down by you and to tie you down on top of that. Not in that way, but you know what I mean. Because this one over here, they're aiming for a long-term committed relationship to come out of this entire situation. So with all of that being said, no, I don't believe that you are actually dealing with a King of Wands like you think you are, because a King of Wands is not going to go out their way to try to prove absolutely anything to absolutely anyone, because there's no need for them to do all of that, especially when they don't have any sort of intentions of being with that person long term. Not only that, but a King of Wands is not going to be the type of person that's going to put themselves in that predicament to settle down with absolutely anyone, because they just want to be single and free and just live their life. So with that being said, no, you're not connecting with a King of Wands like you think you are. You're actually connecting with an Emperor here, which is basically all of the kings in one. And you're actually showing up as an Empress, which is all of the queens in one. So with that being said, true pair situation here between you and this person. Like I said, dude, you're not seeing this person accurately. You're actually dealing with an Emperor all the while you think you're dealing with a King of Wands, which in all actuality, you're just not dealing with a King of Wands whatsoever. Because if you honestly were, they wouldn't be trying to pursue you or anything serious with you. They just wouldn't do all of that, okay? They just wouldn't. A King of Wands is not going to sit up here and do that. I've never seen a King of Wands try to pursue something serious with absolutely anyone if it's not the Queen of Wands that they are essentially pursuing. But if it's anybody else, no, they're not trying to pursue anything long term. It would have to be a Queen of Wands like energy, which you didn't show up as the Queen of Wands, which is, you know, kind of telling me that the both of you are just kind of at this stage in your life where you guys are looking for, you know, someone that you guys can grow with and can build a life with. That's just the stage that you guys are at right now. So with all of that being said, I feel like you've already had your fun. You know what I mean? I feel like they already had their fun. I just kind of feel like right now the both of you just kind of want to settle down. You know what I mean? Nothing wrong with that. But then there's that, right? So you're not looking at them accurately. You think that they're a King of Wands when in all actuality, they're an Emperor. Not only that, but really think about it, right? This relationship that they, share with you, it has taken a massive toll on them as well. You're not the only one stressing here. You ain't the only one going through it, because the times where you're going through it and overthinking things, that causes them a lot of stress. That causes them to feel overwhelmed. On top of that, you got to understand that this person's dealing with someone who's very unpredictable, aka you, okay? So one day you might be so into them and this relationship with them, and the next thing you know, you might start to find yourself overthinking things to the point where you start, pushing this person away. That in itself is not a good feeling, for them to essentially experience from you. And I'm not saying all this to make you feel bad or anything like that. I'm just trying to open your eyes to get you to see that if this person didn't really care about you, you know what I mean? If this person didn't really love you, if this person didn't really want to be with you, I just don't foresee anybody like allowing themselves to go through all of this. I just don't. Like I said, like, this relationship does stress this person out as well, Gemini. You ain't the only one stressing here. Like, this relationship can take a massive toll on them sometimes. And it has a lot to do with the fact that there's times where you kind of overthink things, and there's times where you tend to kind of think the worst when it comes down to them, just to come to find out they ain't doing shit, you know what I mean? Like, it is a lot for them just as much as it's a lot for you, you know what I mean? So just keep that in mind, right? That if this person didn't really want to be with you, you know what I mean? If they really didn't want a future here, they wouldn't put themselves in this predicament to stress like this, or overwhelm themselves like this, by another person. They just wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? They just wouldn't do it. And on top of that, I don't feel like, I don't feel like this person is choosing to stick around and be under this amount of stress and all this stuff, because they're using you or taking advantage of you, because I'm definitely not getting that. I feel like I'm looking at two people who are very, very independent, because I feel like you're very independent, and I also feel like they're very independent. You guys are both very independent people, okay? So with all of that being said, I don't feel like you guys are with one another because you guys need one another. I feel like you guys are with one another because you guys both want one another, and there's a huge difference. So I don't feel like this person is stressing and going through all of this stuff and, dealing with you being very unpredictable at times, just because they want something from you, or that they're taking advantage of you, or that they're using you. No, I'm not even getting that either. So then there's that. Gemini. I just kind of feel you have to accept your situation for what it truly is, not for what you think it is, or what it might be one day that they're going to turn around and hurt you, betray you, deceive you, and all that stuff. You need to accept your situation honestly for what it truly is. And it starts with you just accepting the fact that, you know what? You just got a good thing. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Stop thinking that everybody's out to get you. Stop thinking that this person's here to betray you and deceive you and all that stuff, because I'm just not getting that, Gemini, from this person. And remember that the devil was wrapped up in all of this. The devil is going to try his hardest to alter your perception of this person, which it kind of looks like that's already working. You know what I mean? The devil, Jesus, the devil is very clever and very crafty. Okay, so with that being said, don't underestimate this one over here, because he can alter your perception of a person. He can make you think god awful things to the point where you turn around and you fucking believe it, even if you don't have any damn proof. You know what I mean? You'll turn around and believe it, and that's exactly what we see you doing. That's exactly what we see you doing here. So just be mindful that every time you allow yourself to entertain these negative thoughts and believe these negative thoughts, especially when you don't even have concrete evidence, just know that you're turning around giving, the devil basically what it is that he wants in the end. He wants you to think the worst of this person. He wants you to self-sabotage this relationship. He wants you to go back to being single and alone. He wants you to believe, in fact, that you're better off being single and alone. And the only reason why he wants you to be single and alone is because you're a much easier target when you are single and alone than you are in a relationship with someone. Because when you're in a relationship with someone, let's say, for example, this person, then you find yourself overthinking things, and you find yourself thinking the worst, right? When it comes down to this person, well, this person can come in and snap you out of it and put things into perspective for you and get you to see the bigger picture here and get you to see things clearly, right? But see, the devil doesn't want that. You see, the devil doesn't want you to see things clearly. The devil doesn't want you to see that this person over here is a good person. Hence why he's, trying his hardest to alter your perception of this person. Don't allow don't allow the devil to alter your perception of this person. You need to snap yourself out of it and look at your situation for what it truly is. I think that what would really benefit you, Gemini, is if you try your hardest to set your doubts and reservations and but what if they do this to me one day and what if they do that to me one day? If you just set all of that to the side and honestly really, really get to know this person, screw what you think about them. Screw all of that. If you really set all of that to the side and really get to know this person, you'll see for yourself that you don't actually have anything to worry about. You'll see for yourself that you can actually trust them, but it requires you to set your own doubts and reservations to the side and just really get to know this person. Stop going based off of what you think they're about and what you think they're going to do. Screw that. Really get to know this person. You'll see for yourself, oh, I'm tripping. I don't even have anything to worry about. Also, too, every time you find yourself getting these negative thoughts, Gemini, you have to really come in and honestly check yourself and snap yourself out of it. I'm also kind of getting that, too. Okay, let's do this, you guys. So in regards to how this person plans on moving forward, we have the Ace of Wands, we have the Three of Pentacles, and then we also have the Ace of Pentacles. Tell me more about the Three of Pentacles. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Hold on, because something just came to me. Hold on. All right, nothing wanted to come out, but we do have the Ace of Wands, so Three of Pentacles, and then we also have the Ace of Pentacles. At the bottom of the deck, we do have the Emperor. We also have the Three of Swords, and then we also have the Hangman out here. All right, so in regards to how this person plans on moving forward, Gemini, another thing that I am definitely getting off of this person in particular is that they haven't necessarily switched up on you. They haven't switched up on you. They've remained very consistent, very persistent when it comes on to you and what they basically want with you. And this person showing up as a damn emperor. An emperor is that type of person that when they set their mind to something, they're very determined to accomplish it. It doesn't matter the obstacles that they run into along the way. Like, they're very determined to make that happen. Like I said, it's like this one over here has fucking tunnel vision when it comes down to you. And even though they've experienced a lot of obstacles, unfortunately, along the way, they still, have their eyes dead set on you and what they want here, with you. So with all of that being said, again, if you were really dealing with a King of Wands, like you think you are, they wouldn't be doing all this extra stuff. I'm so sorry. I've never seen a King of Wands do all of this. No. Because, again, it's like a King of Wands is not somebody who's looking to settle down. You know what I mean? It's just not somebody who's looking to settle down. It's somebody who's out here just trying to live their best life. Nothing more, nothing less. They don't care to prove themselves to absolutely anyone. They don't care to gain anybody's trust because, they have this mentality of, I'm here for a good time, but not a long time. Like they typically have that type of mentality. I'm just here for a good time, not for a long time though. So with that being said, no, I don't feel like you're dealing with a King of Wands whatsoever. I feel like you're actually dealing with an Emperor. All right, let's see what the romance angels have to say, shall we? Okay. So we do have new love, a new person has stirred your romantic feelings. For some of you, this could be a new person. If not, new love for me anyways as a reader just represents the Ace of Cups. For me anyways as a reader, which basically represents an emotionally fulfilling experience. You can experience an emotionally fulfilling experience here with this person if you would just allow yourself to. If you would just stop overthinking things. Look at this. With codependency and unrequited love, codependency for me as a reader represents the devil in tarot, and then unrequited love, it's very similar to like the Six of Cups, Six of Pentacles, but in the reverse, okay? The devil is trying to get you to basically think, believe, and feel like, this person doesn't really love you, this person doesn't really care about you, they don't really have your best interests at heart, Gemini, come on, listen to me, I know what I'm talking about, this one over here doesn't have your best interests at heart, when in actuality, that's just not the case. It's just the devil trying to alter your perception of this person, which, from the looks of it, it does appear to me that, it has been working. But with new love and then love yourself first, very similar to the Nine of Pentacles, very similar to the Nine of Cups in tarot. All of this really does kind of start with you, Gemini. You could experience an emotionally fulfilling experience here with this person if you just allow yourself to. If you just stop turning around and constantly giving the devil what he wants time and time again from you. Like, stop entertaining these negative thoughts. Stop, assuming things that could very well be going on that more than likely is not even going on, because this right here, like I said, is kind of telling me that you have this habit of thinking god awful things, right? When it comes onto this person, not having any sort of concrete evidence or proof to justify why you think what you think, but you're choosing to run with it either which way. This is not coming from a place of, I just looked through this man's phone or I just looked through this woman's phone and I caught them doing this, and this is why now I think that they've been cheating on me or they've been doing this behind me. No, you're not experiencing none of that. What you're doing is randomly thinking out of nowhere, ooh, this one over here, they must be doing this behind my back as we speak. You know what I mean? Yep, they are. And then you're choosing to believe it without having any concrete evidence to back up what you think. You know what I mean? Could very well be going on. And like I said, this is like the devil's work, at his finest, to be completely honest, So every time you give into these negative thoughts, every time you entertain these negative thoughts, every time you choose to believe these negative thoughts, especially when you don't even have any sort of concrete evidence to back it up, right? That's just you turning around giving the devil exactly what it is that he wants. That's all that you're really doing here. I don't feel like you're dealing with a bad guy like you think you are. I don't feel like you're dealing with this King of Wands like energy like you think you are. This person is very far from a King of Wands, believe it or not. They're very far from that. So yeah, Gemini. I think that if you were to just allow yourself to just trust them, and I know it's hard, I know it's fucking hard, I understand, but if you were to just allow yourself to trust them, if you were just to allow yourself to go there, because this is kind of telling me that you have allowed yourself to go there with this person at some point in time. You have, it's here, like, you have allowed yourself to go there with this person at some point in time, Gemini. So that's kind of telling me that you're capable of going there with this person. You just got to allow yourself to go there and stay in that energy. Stay in that energy, Act like this when this person actually gives you a reason. You know what I mean? Act like this when this person actually gives you a reason to not trust them. But if this person's not doing anything to cause you to... Yeah, if this person's not even doing anything to cause you to not trust them, Gemini, I don't know, dude. because I don't feel like they're currently doing anything to give you a reason to not trust them. It would be different if they were actually doing something, but I don't feel like they are doing anything to give you a reason to not trust them. So then there's that. Like I said, just act like this as far as don't trust them when they actually give you a reason to not trust them. For those of you who find yourself finding it hard to trust this person because this person has betrayed your trust in the past, is one of those situations where you're gonna have to be very real with yourself. You know, like if you honestly cannot forgive this person, if you honestly cannot foresee yourself ever trusting this person again, don't stick around and sign yourself up for mental torture. All right, Gemini, we have the Knight of Swords, we have the Eight of Swords, and then we also have the Seven of Swords out here. Okay, there's an overall energy of you currently connecting with someone that you don't necessarily trust entirely, okay? Now, this person that you currently find yourself connecting with that you don't necessarily trust entirely, it could be, you know, that this person has given you reasons to not trust them in the past. You know, that's definitely a possibility. And if that is the case where this person has given you reasons to not necessarily trust them, in the past, Gemini, you know, for a lot of you, you could find yourself, you know, accusing this person of doing things behind your back, even if they are or not doing anything behind your back. You might find yourself accusing them of doing things behind your back, either which way, due to stuff that they have essentially put you through in the past, causing you to feel like they might be doing it again, or they're about to do it again, is kind of what I'm getting. But with the Knight of Swords to the Eight of Swords to the Seven of Swords coming out here, that's kind of telling me that there's an overall energy of you essentially feeling, right? Well, not feeling, not necessarily feeling, but thinking, right? That this person is basically up to no good. And because you think that this person's up to no good, you could go as far as to, like I said, accuse them of doing something behind your back. You might even confront them and ask this person, you know, is there something you need to tell me? Are you doing something behind my back? You know, things of that nature. With the Eight of Swords to the Seven of Swords coming out here, that creates an Ace of Swords at play, which basically represents the sword of truth. It also represents clarity. That's kind of telling me that whatever it is that you think this person could very well be doing, you don't necessarily have any sort of concrete evidence to back up what you think could very well be going on, or what you think this person's up to. This is you just randomly thinking that this person's up to no good for whatever reason, and you're running off of the simple fact that, yep, they're up to no good because I think that they're up to no good. It's kind of mainly coming from that place. It's not coming from a place of you saw something and now you think, you know what I mean, that this person's up to no good because you saw something that led you to believe that. I'm not getting that from you. I'm kind of getting primarily like an overall energy of you thinking that they could very well be up to no good and choosing to believe that more than likely they are up to no good, and you're choosing to run with that without any sort of concrete evidence, without any facts or anything like that. It's kind of what I'm getting primarily off of your overall energy. How does this person currently view this relationship with Gemini? Okay. Well, I mean, your person doesn't look like they're up to no good. Yeah, they don't look like they're up to no good. Yeah, they definitely don't look like they're up to no good, but we're going to still look a little bit more into them. Anyways, we have the Knight of Swords, we got the Star, and then we also have the Seven of Pentacles. I feel like throughout the course of their relationship with you, Gemini, they've constantly found themselves, you know, feeling the need that they have to basically reassure you that you are what they want. With the Seven of Pentacles coming out here, that's kind of telling me that all of this person's eggs are basically in your basket. They're very crystal clear on you and what they basically want with you, is primarily what I'm getting here off of this person's overall energy, Gemini. Like I said, we're still going to look into this person a little bit more just to see, right, if what you're thinking is essentially true, that they are, you know, up to no good. But let's look at the Star. Tell me more about the Star. Yeah, they come off to me as somebody's very dead set on you. Tell me more about the Star. All right, so we have the Knight of Cups that came out, and then we also have the Ten of Pentacles, and then we also have the Sun out here. So, Gemini, in regards to how they're currently viewing you in this relationship,